Hello, dear students. Program Bachelor of Commerce, Modern Marketing, 5th semester, Session 28, New Product Development. I'm Maitri B, Assistant Professor in Commerce, Department of Collegiate Education, Karnataka. In the previous session, we have learned about the various factors that affects the life cycle of the product, like the rate of technical change and market acceptance, competitors' entry, protection by patents, risk-bearing capacity, economic and managerial forces, goodwill of the enterprises. Next, during the introduction stage, a firm has to concentrate on effective sales promotion, and at the growth stage, a firm must introduce new alternative brands and start new segments. And during the maturity stage, a firm must keep close watch on the policies and strategies of the competitors. And at last, in the declining stage, the marketer must explore alternative use of product and make changes in the products. In today's session, we are going to learn about the new product development. Under that, we are going to learn about the meaning and definition of new product development, the categories of new products, reasons for innovation of new products, and the factors to be considered before introducing a new product. So first, let us understand what is a new product. So marketers routinely call the products they introduce in the market as new, whether they are genuine innovations or slight modifications on the existing product. In the most cases, the newness of the product is the result of combining characteristics of products already in existence. In only a few cases, the products represent genuine innovations. So we can tell that a new product is a product which is a genuine innovation and which serves nearly a new function in an entirely new way. So it has to be a genuine innovation, or we can tell that it has to be something very new in the market, and it has to nearly serve the customers in a very new way or in an innovative way. So, from the marketing standpoint, William J. Stanton has defined a new product as the key criterion as to whether a given product is new is how the intending market perceives it. So, if the buyer perceives that a given item is significantly different in some characteristics, then it is a new product. When the consumer considers it as new, even if it is not a genuine innovation. So here, if the customers or if the consumers perceive it, even though without much difference or without much alterations, if the consumer consider if the new product as a new product, then that can be a new product, or else it cannot be considered as a new product, and there has to be some new innovation or some genuine innovations in it. So only in such cases a product can be considered as a new product. Next, the categories of new product. According to William J. Stanton, there are three broad categories of new products. So they are products that are really innovative. Second, products that are significantly different from the existing products. And the third, the imitative products that are new to a particular company but not new to the market. So now let us study one by one what are those. Products that are really innovative or really unique products. So, products that are quite different from the existing products but satisfy the same needs also come under this category. It means the products for which there is a real need because existing substitutes are not satisfactory. The second category of product, that is products that are significantly different from the existing products. We can tell the best example is instant coffee is replacing the coffee powder. The new models of clothing, etc., belong to this category. The third type of new product is imitative products that are new to a particular company but not new to the market. So here the company tries this new product only with a view to get a share of the existing market of a product of another company. Next, reasons for innovation of new products. The new product development is a very important component of product policy and product management. So it is not enough for a concern if it undertakes the appraisal of the existing products and product lines and the positioning of these products effectively. A progressive enterprise must always undertake the development of new products as it is absolutely essential for meeting the changes in market demand. Because of rapid scientific and technological advancements, changes are bound to take place in tastes, fashions, likes and dislikes, customs and habits, expectations and requirements, comforts and convenience of life, etc. People always seek better and improved products in place of old ones. To continue successfully in the market and earn more and more profit in the face of severe competition, a business must develop new products that meet the changing requirements to its customers. If the firm does not do so, it may become a victim of economic, social, political, legal, and even technological threats. So, therefore, new product development becomes an unavoidable necessity for a firm in its combat against these environmental threats. Again, a business firm meets its social responsibility through its product. Unless the firm discharges this responsibility, it has no social and economic justification to exist. So, above all, the competitive conditions will not permit a firm which fails to introduce new product to exist for long. So there are several reasons for the innovation of new product. So the first is the increased consumer selectivity. In the recent years, the consumers have become more selective in their choice of products. The purchasing power of the consumers has doubly increased and their wants also have become more sophisticated. They have also become highly critical in their appraisal of new products. Therefore, a mere modification or an imitation of an existing product or a product which can offer only a few more advantages are not sufficient to satisfy the customer's wants. Again, this situation may also lead to a product indigestion. So, the only cure is to develop really new products, that is, to innovate and not just to imitate. The second one is the product life cycle. Each product has a life cycle. It grows, declines, and finally is abandoned. When a product is finally abandoned, it must be replaced by some other new product. Even products which are crossing maturity stages also yield lower profits. So, new products should be added to balance the profit volume. The third reason is new product is a basic profit determinant. New products generally increase the volume of turnover and hereby the volume of profits. Even if the sales of existing products do not tend to decline, certainly the profits on such products tend to decline. Introduction of a new product at the proper time alone will help a concern to maintain the concern's desired level of profits. The fourth reason is new products are essential for growth. Innovating attitude has become a philosophy quite necessary for effective marketing. Peter Drucker has rightly remarked that every business concern has to perform only the two basic functions of marketing and innovating. Thus, new products are essential for growth. And the fifth reason is resources and environmental considerations. Natural resources, which constitute the basic raw materials for products, are very much limited. They will be exhausted completely in the years to come. Most of them are irreplaceable. Therefore, some alternatives should be found out before their complete exhaustion. That means even environmental considerations and limited natural resources also necessitate the innovation of new product lines. Factors to be considered before introducing a new product. A new product should not be added abruptly to the existing product line. Several factors have to be considered before introducing a new product, both by the producers as well as the middlemen. So, they are first one, the manufacturer's criteria of new products. So, first let us discuss about the what are the manufacturer's criteria for new products, and in the second next slide we can see the middleman's criteria for new products. So first let us study the manufacturer's criteria for new products. Under that, first one is enough demand. There should be adequate market demand for the product. So this is the first and perhaps the most important criteria for a new product. There has to be proper demand for a particular product. Next, suitable for current environment. So as stated by one of the famous market philosophist, the product must be compatible with the current environmental and social standards. That is, the manufacturing process should not pollute air or water, and the final product should not be harmful to the environment. Third one, suitable for the present market structure. The product should fit into the company's present market structure, that is, the existing sales force of the firm should be sufficient to market the product. Further, the product should not require any special channel for distribution. The fourth one is the production fit. The new product must fit with the existing production facilities, manpower, and management capabilities. Next, financial considerations. The product should fit in from the financial standpoint. An attempt to develop a new product may be made only where the financial facilities are adequate. Similarly, there should be enough profit possibilities for the product. Next, no legal objections. There should not be any legal objections. The patents must be applied for labeling and packaging, and they must meet the existing regulations. Next, the managerial considerations. The management must have enough time and ability to deal with the new product. And last is the company's image and objectives. The product should be in keeping with the company's image and objectives also. A firm which is dealing in low priced goods should not add an item that suggests prestige or status. So these are some of the factors to be considered manufacturer's criteria for new products. Next is the middleman's criteria for new product. And that first is when the retailers or wholesalers are considering whether to take on a new product or not, they should use all the above criteria except those related to productions. So in addition, they should consider the following also. First one is the relationship with the producer. The manufacturer's reputation, the possibility of getting exclusive sole right in a given area, the type of promotional help given by the manufacturer, etc., should be examined in detail. The next is in-store policies and practices. So considerations such as what type of selling efforts are required for the new product, how does a new product fit in with the store policies regarding repairs, service, alterations, credit and delivery, etc., should also be examined. So now let us brush up whatever we have studied in this session. First thing is a new product. A new product must be considered, or a product has to be considered as new when it depends on how the intended market perceives it. Next, a new product may be innovative one or significantly different from the existing products or imitative product. Next, increased consumer selectivity, product life cycle, profit and growth objectives, resources and environmental considerations are the reasons for products innovation. A firm should consider market structure, product fit, legal obligations, financial and managerial conditions, its image and relationship with the producer, etc., before introducing a new product to the market. Thank you.